Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today we're going to try to find some profitable books on online marketplaces like eBay and Amazon to see if we can flip them back on Amazon for a profit. So this is going to be a live recording. If you're someone coming here in the future, then go ahead and just fast forward a minute or two so we can get right into the action. Right. Hey, Rose, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. All right. Just woke up, ready for some live sourcing to see if we can find anything good here. So this is a software called FlipMine. It's basically an eBay to Amazon software. Link down below if you want to try it out, free trial. Essentially, you're trying to find something on eBay that's undervalued in comparison to the Amazon listing. And obviously, it's going to take a little bit of digging through because not everything's going to be great, but it definitely is a cool tool I like to use. We got Chris in the house. Welcome, Chris. And we also got AC Flips back at it. How's it going, man? Hey, Alex, saw your live stream for a few minutes there. It was awesome. If anyone doesn't know, go check out AC Flips. He was doing some live, just traditional online arbitrage sourcing. Really cool guy. So go check that out. We got Sigal. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. So let's go and take a look at some of these books. So basically, the way I like to look at FlipMine is I kind of like to show the eBay and the Amazon title next to each other. And I also like to see the eBay price and the inferred lowest FBA offer here. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Like this Georgia fruit book looks like it's actually a little bit cheaper on Amazon. So maybe a potential eBay or Amazon to Amazon flip. Looks like its price is quite high for a long time. Wasn't really selling because the sales rank wasn't dropping. Looks like this is probably worth right around like $5 or so. So this is something that I'm going to pass on. But let's keep going. Diversity matters. Let's see what else we have. And collects for dummies. Let's see, principles for igneous of igneous rock. So probably gonna go a little bit faster today, honestly. Definitely gonna give my feedback on the books I'm coming across, but probably a little bit faster keep analysis. So $28 for this book. Looks like it's slightly undervalued. Okay, so this one actually looks like pretty decent. Let's see, can I sell it? I can sell it. It's by Cengage. So I'm actually gonna check for counterfeit likelihood on this book because some of the Cengage books are highly counterfeited. And this one looks like it's pretty popular. So I'm gonna go ahead and check it. All right, good. This is unlikely. So 28.30 is what we'd have to pay for this. And you can see that this was selling really well in January. So this had a January textbook season. Looks like it was selling for right around 75. And you can see back here in August, September, also sales rank kind of viewed out. So it was definitely selling there better, right around maybe 50. I'm sure the buy box price, which is these little purple buttons, I'm sure is probably a little bit higher during this time. But I think this is something that I probably would buy because for me, I'm thinking it is a little bit undervalued. It's not an amazing deal, but I think this is something I could probably easily sell for like $60. If I were to pick it up for $60, or if I were to sell it for 60, it'd be like a 45% ROI. But notice that some of these buy box prices have been higher in the past, and I definitely would think that they are actually selling at that price now. Offer count looks like it is a little bit up, which could be a little bit concerning, but over time looks like this thing has been holding pretty good value. Now, this is from your online bookstore, so a lot of the times they have some pretty good deals. So I would say this is a good deal on this book. But one thing we could do is go over to Bookfinder to see if we got any other copies on other marketplaces. What's up, Logan? Good morning, man. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. All right. And yeah, also Logan, man, congrats on the 1K as well. So Logan's another YouTuber who does traditional online arbitrage. So go check him out as well. He's great. All right. So here's what's actually really interesting is that right now on Amazon you can buy this book or on eBay you can buy this book for 28.30, and actually a buyback company is willing to give 22. Generally, it's a really good sign if a buyback company is willing to give you close to around what you're buying it for. So I would say definitely this is something that I would pick up, and if you want to pick it up, then feel free to. But I would say I would be conservative and say I could probably sell this for right around 60 because this is actually really high in demand. And I would think that probably more likely is going to be $75 during textbook season where you could have a little bit of an inflated buy box. But let's just go and see what some of the offers are at because there could be like, a big seller with a whole bunch of offers. But to me, you have Apex Media. It looks like they only have one copy though. You have Rock City Books only got one copy, and then it's back up to 90. So I would, when I send this in, try to probably sell it for 75. But I think that's definitely a pickup for me. All right, so this NCLEX book is 11 on eBay. It's about 18 on Amazon. It looks like it's actually slightly undervalued. I mean, right now on Amazon, it looks like in the last year, it's been selling for right around the 18, maybe up to like 27 at the most. But it has been low in the past. It's been down to to about $3. So, it's really interesting how this book has actually sold for significantly more in the past, because usually you think like the MSRP of these books are not very high. So it is actually kind of crazy that they can go up in value. So this is something that I wouldn't pick up. There's not definitely not at 11. So this is something that I might consider. Like if I came across this on Amazon for 358 plus, if I was all in for like 780 on this, I would probably try to hit the buy box here. So you can see this person read and refine. They actually went out of stock at 41. So they exploited the buy box. So obviously if you did the same thing, that'd be best case scenario. But probably more realistically, I'd try to like list it at 25, and that would give you a little bit of profit. I mean, if you're sending to a prep center, you might be willing to take that because you don't have to do any of the handling. So it doesn't take a whole bunch of time to do that. But this is something I'm going to pass on. Let's see what we got here. Have you ever went deep on a book lead, 5 or 10 more in your stock? I've gone deep on books that are non-textbooks. Textbooks, I generally try not to go super deep on because a lot of the times, if you do have a textbook that drops in price very significantly, many times it's from a seller like RentU or Apex Media, who's a large seller, and usually they know what they're doing. Like they're trying to get out of the marketplace because they know something that I don't. So I definitely go deeper on non-textbooks. So yeah, like there's one in particular right now that I have sitting on my shelf is actually an Amazon to Amazon like flip, like buying it new from Amazon. This is a book that I'm not going to share it because it kind of ruined the market. But this is a book that Amazon, when they were selling it, it was like about $40 MSRP. And then when Amazon goes out of stock and they're out of stock for like more than 2 or 3 months, this shoots up to like 150 plus. So like that book I bought 10 of, and it's slowly starting to sell for the inflated price. So I will go deep on non-textbooks, stuff that shows sustained historical value. But textbooks, I try to limit myself to like no more than 5. But that's a really good question. Um, that's probably one of the red flags, honestly, is going too deep on textbooks specifically. But good question. Okay, here's something that I think is actually from just initial impression, this is something undervalued on Amazon that I would consider buying on Amazon. So first thing I want to do is check when this came out, 2009. Okay, so there could be another edition of this book, but 2009 is already pretty old. It's likely that if this has been selling for the past decade, that this is actually doing really well. And look at the seasonality on this thing. Like in the off season, this has gone as low as 35, gone up to 117. Then in July 20, I guess August 2021, went all the way down to about 11, then went right back up to 145. This shows pretty amazing seasonality, honestly. Like this is going down in price, but up in price, and you can see how the offer count is ebbing and flowing on this book. So yeah, there's 27 people tracking this book. I would bet that quite a few people bought some copies right here because I think at $13 historically, that's very cheap. And considering that, last January, the price went up pretty high. It's pretty crazy. Now, this also has a textbook season in August, September, but it doesn't look like August and September is nearly as good as January. So this is mainly a January textbook season in terms of inflated price. So this is something that you probably wouldn't really want to sell until January because of the inflated price. But yeah, this is still something that I might consider picking up. Let's see. What was it on eBay? It's 25 on eBay. So that actually might be the cheapest. Yeah, it looks like that is probably the cheapest. And we can go and take a look at Bookfinder as well, see if there's a copy over there. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. All right. So let's go down here. So yeah, it looks like $24 you can actually buy it on Books Run. So it's a little bit cheaper over there. And also on Biblio, you can pick it up for $25.57. So if you have the Bibliophile membership, you pay $20 a year, you can get 10% off that as well. So it actually would be cheaper to buy it on Biblio then. So this is something that I would consider buying. The thing that I kind of don't really like about is that in the August, September textbook season, in the last few years, it hasn't shown that it really gets, that it really increases in price. It actually kind of stays the same. So this is something that I think you'd have to hold for a long time if you wanted to sell it for this inflated price, 80 or 90 or even more. Like look at these buy box prices at 140. And I would bet, from experience that a lot of these sellers are actually probably selling it. Maybe not quite that high, but even up there. So yeah. All right, let's look at this next one here. We got $25 over here on Amazon, $9. All right. So let's see what's going on here. So this looks like it sold maybe a couple times in the past, maybe around 30, and then a couple times here for about 25. This probably was not a sell. This is just an error by Keepa. But a couple sells here. This is something that just doesn't have enough demand, so I'm gonna pass on that. Hey Josh, how's it going, man? Good to see you. We got this the Heart 2086. Looks like it's the same price over here. This is actually very volatile. Wow, this is an interesting book. This is something that I would want to have bought at these dips, like down here at $4, because notice that there are quite a few sales around 25, 30 plus. Like here are a few sales at probably 60, maybe even one at 99 there. So 26. So this is something that I would track because it definitely has been very low in the past, and that would be an opportune time to pick it up. So I'm gonna just track this for $8, including shipping. So I'm gonna go to advanced tab, include shipping, and sure, let's track this for 10 years. Right now, what is this? $20. Yeah, I think that's probably right around what it's worth. But you can definitely charge probably a little bit more than that based upon what I'm seeing here. But I would want to buy it down here at the dip here. And probably what happened is either, I mean, I guess the offer count did change, kind of step down. So probably these were just customers. And it looks like there's only one other person who's tracking this book. So potentially that could be really good. Physics of sound. Let's see if there's anything else. All right. So there actually were some pretty good books there. And let's see what else we got. Keep going. Smash the like button. I appreciate it, Logan. Thanks, man. Very cool of you. All right, so $60 over here for this book. We are gated on this, so I'm wondering if this is from Pearson. So I bet this is a popular textbook. We probably can't sell it. I'm curious just to know what buyback companies are offering for this, because back here in April, this actually did get down to about $23. So I'm curious if the buyback is actually more than that. Yes, look at this. The buyback is 24 right now, and on Amazon you could have bought it for, not too long ago. You could have bought it for 23. So not quite enough for you to have flipped it to a buyback company, but maybe this is something you could have waited like you could have bought it, maybe waited on it until maybe July or August, right before textbook season. Some of these companies might be willing to give you a little bit more money for it, but pass on that. The day books of Edward Weston, $40. What we got picked up for? It's over here on Amazon for 20, so it's definitely cheaper there. Looks like this is worth right around 25 to 30. It doesn't really see like it has major dips, maybe one right there, but this is something I'm going to skip on. I'm not going to track. How's it going, Eric? Let's get this bread. Yeah, we've already found something that I would have definitely bought. And we're just on Flipmine here. We're going to head on over to Keep It Deals and Product Finder in a sec. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that was also kind of newer up here that we can take a quick look at, and then we'll go on from there. All right, let's go and do some faster analysis here. All right, let's go. So $49 here. Amazon 24. Looks like this was Amazon selling this for about $7. That's an absolute no. Flipmine, everyone is all about just speed, like getting through all the junk. There's tons of junk, but there's also a lot of good stuff. So in order to get the good stuff, you got to get through the junk. This was about $58. Doesn't really look like it's selling, although the sales rank is kind of hovering around 1 million. So I mean, it is likely that maybe it could be selling, because generally the sales rank should be going up much higher than that. But Amazon was selling that for about $12. Doesn't seem like there's a ton of demand for this. $25 for this book. It looks like same price over on Amazon. Generally, this is worth right around like $12. So we're going to pass on that. Hey, Jay, how's it going, man? Hello. Good to see you. $26 on eBay for this golf course book. 17 on Amazon. Looks like it's worth right around 5 to 10. We're going to pass on that. Unicorn book, $10. Looks like it's actually being sold brand new for 16. So yeah, doesn't even sell. We're going past on that. The Action Bible for 20. Looks like it's worth right around 20. Actually is sold for maybe a little bit more than that, but kind of 20, I think, is actually right what it's worth. So we're going to go and pass on that as well. We got the Vision of the Film right around the same price. Also not really moving. So notice how fast I went through that stuff. That was all junk. And that's kind of just how you got to do it. You got to quickly identify what is the value of that book. Looks like this. You can't even find the Amazon page. It's kind of weird. Tapestry, The Dark Souls. And I determined kind of what is the selling value of that book. And then also, is it actually selling very often? And then go from there. Is this the right? This is a different cover art. See if I can just hover the keeper graph. Okay, 22. Okay, I'm going to pass on that. Let's see what this is. 25. It's always usually a good sign when someone actually takes pictures, because then you know they're not a mega seller. All right, this has a little bit of potential. I'm actually tracking this book for $12. They want 25 plus $6 shipping, so they want about 31. 31 is probably right around what this is worth, but this is when you would have wanted to buy this book, and this is why you track it. You could have picked this up for under $10. I think this would have been solid. You could have probably flipped it for about 40 is what I would try to flip it for. And so notice in the past it has been, has dipped down to that price before. So for me, this is something I'm going to pass on. I do want to see are there any eBay offers? No, all around the same price. So I'm going to pass on that. Let's see if there's anything else that we can quickly find. And then we're going to just head right on over to Keepa and do some Keepa live sourcing. All right. Jim Marshall. You pick this up for 45. For some reason, Amazon page not being found. All right. Let's go ahead and see if we can find the ISBN and do it that way. Not coming up. Let's go ahead and copy and paste the title and see if that works. Okay, there we go. So there's only one offer for $120. That's good news. However, let's look at the Keepa chart. There is no sales rank on this chart for 2,700 days. So there's a couple explanations. Either Keepa never tracked this book for sales rank and it was selling. Notice how the used and new offer count is changing and the price is changing. So obviously there's some repricing going on. For the longest time, there's only been one seller on this listing. So I probably would still stay away from this. It's possible that it could be selling, but this is way too much of a risk. And also, this doesn't even look like the right listing. So for whatever reason, the other listing that this book had, I think got removed for some reason. Looks like here is another listing. So there is one person trying to sell this for $50 on Amazon. And it, again, sales rank. Let me see. Yeah, sales rank has kind of just it was up to 10 million. So it looks like when it did sell, you're down here at 18, down here at 13. So this is gonna be a pass as well. Okay, fundamentals of what is this? Microfabrication 25. Looks like an old book there. You can pick it up for 9. It looks like at most this is sold for 20, so we're gonna pass on that. $40 for a loose leaf. So if you didn't know any of these three ring hole, so if you see any of these three holes on the left, these are supposed to go to binder. This is called a loose leaf. It's also called a student value edition or a binder edition. So there's a lot of names for it. Notice that we were given the paperback edition and not the loose leaf. So what we'd want to do, and you can see there's also the hardcover here, is the legal environment of business. We'd try to want to find this. See if we can find the loose leaf. This is 2017. That's the wrong edition, I think there. Let's just open that one up just to see though. So I think this is something you'd have to do a little bit more searching for. I don't think that this is probably going to be worth it at 39 though. So I'm going to go and pass on this. But this is the 13th edition. And what are we looking at? We're looking at the 4th edition. So it's not even, I don't even think it's the same book. It's probably not even the same authors there, but I'm going to pass on that one. Jim Butcher, $84. And over here in Amazon, looks like it's $210. Okay. Death Mass. This is something that actually does look pretty good. Peter says, good morning. Do you consider acceptable books if the price is right? Good question. If the description sounds like the book is actually an acceptable condition copy, and the notes say something like, hey, there's a little bit of highlighting, there's maybe a few small marks, there's like a small tear in the dust cut or in the dust jacket, it's something that I would take a risk on. I also would want to look at who the seller is. If their feedback is like 97% plus and they're listing in acceptable condition, there is a good chance they're under promising. So that's something I would consider. But there's some, like, if it's from a newer seller, I'd pass on it for sure. If it's like, this is an ugly book, heavy watered down, like, obviously I'm not going to pick that up. So it's all in the description. And I'd say most of the time, probably 70% of the time, I'd pass on acceptable books, and maybe 30% of the time I pull the trigger. But it's really a combination of what does the description look like? Who is the seller? What is my feeling towards the likelihood of it actually being sellable? All right, so this Jim Butcher book right here, this came out in 2009. Right now, $84 is the price. And you can see that over here on Amazon, the most recent sale looks like it was down here at 99. And then he had one at 210. And then you have a few more sales here at, looks like this is at least 100 right there. You have another couple sales at 100, and then one here at 140, one here at 140 as well. And then a couple sales back here at 180, one at 150. And then these are probably sales in collectible condition right here, which would be over $200. I mean, it could be possible that maybe the used price wasn't being tracked right here, but I think this is something that if you were to buy it for 95 or 84, I think this is something that I would definitely buy because in the past it has sold for about 160 and even more. Let's look at the offer count. When the offer count was a lot higher in the past, it was selling for maybe around 50. So it looks like this has definitely got a lot rarer, right? There's a big difference. So like offer count of 30 versus the offer count of right now we're about 13. So we're less than half of the offer count in the past. So this is something that let's see what what the primes offers are at. Looks like there actually is there's no used buy box right now. So there's a new buy box for 255, but you can see that the prices on this that people are asking are quite high. So you can see this person's trying to ask 210 on this book, and you can see that that's the new price prime. So if I were to pick this up for 84, this is a library copy as well, and I would be okay picking this up. I would definitely it looks like it definitely does have a little bit of wear at the top, so this is something I would lift. I wouldn't list in good condition, I'd list this in acceptable condition, but if you're picking this up for 84, I would try to sell this probably for, like, 150 to 160. I'd say probably, like, 160 is what I listed at, so you make, like, a 50% ROI. I mean, like I said, it has sold for more in the past, but when these sales were a lot higher, notice that there actually was no used offer count, there were only collectible offers, so there is a little bit of inherent risk with this because in the past it has sold for less, but I think this is something that is still solid. Like I would buy this book and I'd try to flip it for 160. So I'm gonna go ahead and let me go and reopen that tab there. That's something that if no one else buys that I'm gonna buy. Um, so I wouldn't say that's necessarily an amazing deal, but I think that's a solid deal. I make money on books like that all the time. All right, 80 for this book, 45 on Amazon. So obviously we're not going to buy this on eBay. And let's go ahead and let's go down. Okay, this book definitely looks like can I sell? I can sell it. That's good. This is undergoing a repricing war on Amazon. So just a couple days ago, this was at 82. Couple larger sellers look like they're repricing against each other. This in the last textbook season, January, sold maybe a handful of times for around 100. Look at the buy box prices though. A lot of these prime offers were a lot higher than that. So, this person, Rock City Books, it looks like they actually sold 2 or 3 copies up here. So they went stock quantity 3 down to 2 down to 1, and they were around the $100, like over $100. So they're probably were selling this for close to 130, 140. Now in August, September of last year, you can actually see that despite it being textbook season, the price of this dipped a little bit. So that's not great news. Unfortunately, we don't have the data for the buy box price, so we don't know if the buy box price also tanked with it. It's likely it probably did. Now, for this book, again, right now, our offer count is about 19. This same time last year is 12, which means that we are at a higher offer count, which is not good. And also considering the fact that last textbook season in August, September, the price went down, and that the used offer count kind of spiked right before the season, that's not necessarily the best sign. Um, so yeah, this is definitely not quite to the point where I would want to buy it, but this is something that you could track, right? It isn't a repricing war. The question is, how low is this going to go? If this goes down to $10, then I'll be buying all day because I'll definitely pick up copies at $10. Um, so you can just go here, track product, and I'd say if this gets to 15, I'm gonna go include shipping costs. So then I would go ahead and pick that up. All right, let's just go and refresh the page, see if there's anything new, and then we're gonna go over to Keepa and do some Keepa deals analysis. Okay, let's just look at the graph of this. Okay, let's do some Keepa deals. We're gonna keep flip mine up because it will refresh and maybe we can snag something over there. All right, so let's go ahead and look at Keepa deals. First thing we're gonna do is look at the book category. So we go books. We're also gonna look at used books here. We're gonna limit the drop interval to sure. Let's go to the last week. Let's do the drop percentage of at least. Let's do at least 20%. Let's say the drop has to be at least $25, and the current price of this can be anywhere between 0. If we're gonna pick it up between 0 and 34. Let's cast a really wide net, and let's go up to 1.75 million. And let's just go ahead and apply filter. We could go lowest ever, although, yeah, let's just try this. Let's go with lowest ever for the filters. So I'm gonna click that. And then for sort by, let's just sort by the newest. Let's see what's come out. So this should be pretty interesting. We have 490 results with this. Now we're just gonna do some very quick keep analysis, see if we can pick up anything here. All right. So this book looks interesting. This is the right idea. I don't think there's gonna be enough margin on this book unless it's free shipping. But yeah, Bookman. So Bookman is usually a good place to buy from. So it looks like if you want to buy from them, you'd be all in for about this would be about 1028. So um, So 1028. Amazon is on this new for about 40. This doesn't sell a ton, but it definitely sells. Used price is hanging out right around 30 because the new price is 35. So you'd probably have to sell this for probably like 29.99. I think there's a little bit of profit to be made there. I don't know if there's quite enough margin in it for me, but if let's say the Amazon price was like 50 or 60 and the used price is a little bit higher, this would be something I would buy for sure. I think there's just quite not enough on that though. All right. So we got Goldfrank's toxicologic emergencies. This was looks like basically selling you around for 50. A couple sells up here for 119. Massive repricing war right now going on. Let's look at when this came out and if there's a newer edition. This is something that I definitely would probably track. So there is a newer edition. Let's see how new that is though. And more importantly, what are the prices at? Okay, so this book is well over 150, well over 200 selling all the time. This came out in 2014. And is this this is the 10th edition? Is this the 11th edition? It is. Okay. So we can sell this. So I would say if this is something I would try to sell, I would try to be conservative and say like I'm selling this for 55. So obviously it's not quite profitable at this price, but the repricing war that's going on is something that could be very fruitful in a few days. Maybe like 5 or so days from now. So it looks like we got Books from California, HPB Red, Bookworm. These are all, Better Worlds book. Like these are all big sellers that always are in repricing wars with each other. So uh, I'd probably want to be all into this for 15 bucks, like all in, to feel good about this. So I'm gonna go ahead and track it for 15, and I'm gonna go ahead and say let's include shipping costs on that. And the more that you do this, like the more books that you track, like the more that you're actually gonna find good stuff, right? It's a numbers game. The more you track, the better you're gonna get at it. Like the more deals you're gonna find. This is a pack of 3, so we'll see if any of these sellers actually have all 3. Red's Corner. This is a used paperback book set with wear due to handling. Okay, so this says book set, so I would feel confident that I'm actually getting the full thing here. 3141, and let's see what we got here. Um, most recent sales look like they're around $70. I mean, a lot of these could have been the newer prices, but notice that the new seller has gone out of stock. And actually, this probably would have been a pickup right here, $34.99 in brand new condition. That would have been a good pickup. But it looks like the used price of this has been pretty high in the past. It sold for 77 there, sold for 80 in used condition. Kind of expand the data a little bit. This is something that's pretty new. Like this came out in 2019, so it's not a ton of data, but there are sales up here right around 70 or 80. So I would feel comfortable picking this book up. So 3141, I would try to sell it at 79.99. That's something that I would pick up, especially since it is a book set. And then when you buy this, because it is a book set, it may or may not come in an actual slip case cover, like a box set cover. And if it doesn't, then just get a small box or saran wrap it. Yeah, so like you could just saran wrap it with some saran wrap like this, put a do not separate sticker on it. Let me see where I got that. So you just go ahead and put a sold as a set, do not separate sticker on it. And then yeah, send that in. I think that would be good. So this is something that's something I would buy. I'm gonna buy that if no one else buys that. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, man. You're welcome, Peter. Good question. All right, let's keep going. What else we got here? We got the classical tradition. So 13 bucks is kind of what this was selling for September through February. Didn't really sell it very many times. Recently has been a little bit inflated in price, went up to about 30. At $12, this is not going to be enough margin for me, so I'm gonna pass on that. Let's see. Okay, this looks like definitely had a little bit of a dip in price, but probably not quite profitable. So this is probably worth right around 40 bucks. You might be able to inflate the buy box a little bit, like some of these buy box prices that sellers are winning right around 50. So it is possible that you could win an inflated buy box. Now look at this. This is something that definitely went up in price pretty crazy when Amazon went out of stock. So this is something that I would actually track in Amazon new condition, because look, Amazon actually did come back in stock for a little bit for 19 bucks. So you could have bought this for 19 and then pretty much immediately after went right back up to 46, and since then has been selling for right around 40. So this is something that I'm not going to buy at 31, but this is something that I would track from Amazon. And Amazon has been as low as 11.82. Obviously, that would have been the best deal to pick it up for. Well, obviously the best deal would have been to pick it up back here for $9.08. But let's just go and track this for Amazon. So I'm going to track this for $19, and let's go and track that for 10 years. And if Amazon ever comes back in stock, we'll get notified, and then we'll make our purchasing decision to see if we want to buy it there. So right idea, drop in price, not going to be enough margin between 25 and the new price of 50. So we're going to pass on that. Ooh, Wolverine book versus Hulk. That's an interesting concept. So it looks like this has been selling on the low end around 30 up to about 60 in the past year. February looks like we had to sell at 79, and then we've had kind of this newer third-party price holding the ceiling. So this has been right around $55 in used condition. That's been the used price. Looks like there are a couple people here right around that $30 mark with free shipping. Is it likely that they're going to go into a repricing war? It looks like that they are, right? This dropped down to 26, and then now it's down to 24.95. So this is something that I would track just in general because of these drops. Like I would have loved to pick this up for 12.49 here and here. So notice that people using Keep Deals got a great deal there, and that's something that I'd want to track it at. So let's track this at 13 bucks. I'd be popping on this all day for $13. And this looks like it has some good history over the last 4,000 days, where I feel like if you could have picked it up for that price, it generally, like for the most time, would have been a good deal. So I'm going to go ahead and track it for 10 years. And let's keep going. We have a California interpretive history. This is definitely on a repricing war. This is probably going to become or could become very profitable in the near future. Let's take a look at it a little bit more deep in Keepa. So it looks like we got two sellers. They're both acceptable, however, which is, again, so may have some marks or highlights. So here's an example of a book I might consider buying because it says may have some marks or highlights, which is meaning that maybe it doesn't have marks or highlights. And then also 94% is not amazing, but it's not terrible. Yeah, I mean, last January and February, this was selling great. $70 all day. Really didn't have much of an inflated buy box. It was kind of just selling right around that price. And then March actually went up to about 120, close to actually that new price, and probably was selling a few times there. And then a massive repricing war down to 28. Basically, all in the past, so this was worth right around 40. So you definitely probably wouldn't want to be spending, 35 bucks for it, which is what you'd have to pay for right now. So good thing is that the offer count on this is really low. Is there a new edition on this? This came out in 2011. Doesn't look like there's a new edition paired, but we could click the little Google button to see if I'm definitely not a robot. Let's see if we can find the next edition. So is this the next edition? Let's see what this is. This is the 9th edition. What were we looking at? We were looking at the 10th edition. So it looks like this is actually the newer edition that we're looking at. That's a good sign. It is also nice that right now we are at the lowest offer count ever. So this is something that I would keep tracking. I would probably want to, I would track this down to I don't know, $18. And then I'll go back and consider maybe picking it up there. Let's go ahead and keep going. See if there's anything else. Castro Marine Science Student Edition. All right, this was selling great last August, September. This is probably a high school book is what I would think. Marine Science, it looks like a high school book to me. It came out in 2019. Looks like there's a couple copies new for 64. So it looks like the new price of this has come back down recently from 92. And we have this repricing war going on. Let's go back 1,300 days. Yeah, this is a textbook. This is a high school textbook. It's selling August, September, and not in January. So offer count is going up. Notice that the offer count has never been higher than it is today. That's not a good sign. This did come out in 2019. And if this truly is a high school book, this should be relevant for a while, though. So again, something that I would track. I'm not sure if I'd want to pick up these copies, although I think you probably could pick them up. Now, there are 6 copies from All American Textbooks, and then we have one here at 26. So I'm going to go and track this. If these get down to 20, I'm going to pop on the good condition one. And notice that in the past, this has gone down to 18 and then has gone back up. So if you were to buy it here, in hindsight, it would have been a good deal because you could have potentially fit it for up there at 60. So I'm gonna go ahead and track this. What is it at right now? 27. I'm gonna say if this gets to $20 with free shipping, I'll go ahead and pop on that good condition copy and let's track this for 3 years. Let's see if anything on FlipMine is updated and see if we got anything there. Doesn't look like we have anything new to look at. Let's go to this other search I got looking for books with $25 profit and see if there's anything there. Actually, I think that's what I was on. So I got book search 1. Looks like similar books here. So did I see this one? This phonetics book? $22 for this phonetics book. This is probably gated. This looks like it would be Pearson. I think this is a popular textbook. Let's see what buyback company is willing to give for us. Oh, wow. Okay, so this definitely was really cheap, and then it kind of spiked in price. So probably not giving anything for this book. Yeah, $3. That's a pass. All right. So it didn't look like FlipMine had anything. Let's see what else we got. How's it going, Vinny? Good to see you, man. Vinny Toronto. I love the name, man. How's it going, man? Been finding any books? Okay, so here's the right idea. Dip in price. However, the spread between 30 and 56, not enough margin there to make money. We got the Diaspora Boy. Diaspora. I think that's how you say it. Diaspora. So this is something that I would pop on all day right here. I'd be popping on this all day. So is this even available? Let's see. Yeah, it is available. So you can pick this up for $12.88 right now. I mean, it hasn't sold a ton. It sold maybe 5 times in the last year for $65. If you go back in time, though, back in November, it was selling for 80, selling in new condition for about 26, sold here for 14. So yeah, I mean, this is something that I would personally pop on. A lot of people probably wouldn't because it doesn't sell very often, but for me, it's like I definitely have the funds to be buying books like this that are going to take longer to sell. And also, it's not like you have to sell it at 85. You can sell for less to try to increase the sell-through rate, but 12.88 on this book right here. Probably what I would try to sell this for is like $45, make a $14 profit and run out on my money. So notice that by selling for 45, I would still be significantly under what the previous 4 sales were for. So that's something that I would pop on all day. This is also a comics and like it's definitely a book that looks like very niche. Somebody's gonna want to buy this book. Obviously, people have been willing to buy this book, so I'm gonna buy that if no one else buys that. Okay, what else we got here? So I don't know, Malmsteen, Rising Force Marching Out. So this has been very expensive. Doesn't look like anyone has bought it except for right here for $39.99. Then the price dropped all the way down to $7.99. Somebody actually has bought it, probably a customer. Now here's why I would buy this book. If I go back in time, I see that this book has been selling for about $45. So we got 41, 49, 36. We had a big drop off in offer count there for some reason, not sure. And then some sales for 48. If we go back even further back in time, like here's sell 81, here's sell 44. So this generally is worth 40. The reason why this wasn't selling, in my opinion, was because one, for first few months out of the year, no one was even in stock. So how could it sell if no one's listing it for sale? And then it was $250, which is, what is that? About 5 times what people were willing to pay for it in the past. It did come down in price. Notice someone did buy it at 40. So the market did respond to that. I mean, it is possible someone bought it here because the offer count changed from 3 to 2 and then went up to 300. No one bought it because that's, again, well above what someone's willing to pay for it. But then this is $7.99. You can pick it up for, what would that be? 8? That'd be $12. So 12, I would, you can merchant fulfill this. I would send it in Prime and just send it in Prime 45. I think that's going to sell all day. This is 1987. There's no new edition of this book. You looked at, there's also a paperback edition of this book as well. That's also really expensive. That looks like hasn't been selling, but again, it's been out of stock for a long time and it's been really expensive. So this is clearly a niche book. Came out in 1987. I'd be all over this book. So yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, up until just recently when this sold, the sales rank of this book was 4.5 million, and I would have definitely picked this book up. So I'm gonna pick that book up, and no one else buys that. Okay, let's see what we got here. Got a question. When you say probably a customer, do you mean not a reseller? Yeah. The reason why I think those are not like those previous sales, are customers would be because let's go back to it. This kind of seems to be a very stable price back here of right around. So I'm going to take off that new price so we can see this like 41, right? 45, 37. Like these are all customers. These are not resellers because this is kind of historically what the book was selling for at the most. So obviously if you're a reseller, it makes absolutely no sense to buy it at this price. So that's why I mean that I think these are mainly customer sellers, but same thing here. When the price came down, I would highly doubt that anyone who knows what they're doing is willing to pay $40 for this book. Um, because again, if you look at the past historical data, this was selling for about $40. Like that's kind of the most recent sell. So if you're buying it for what it was most recently selling for, unless you think magically you're going to be able to sell it for way more than that, I just don't think how it makes any sense. I mean, it looks like the most this has ever sold for is 150 back in May of 2018. But yeah, that's something I'd be popping all over for sure. Okay. We got Madonna in the house. Encyclopedia Madonica. Madonna from A to Z. All right, so we got some sales of 59. Looks like Amazon was selling this new for 65. Use price of this was right around 45. That's good. What's really interesting though is that when Amazon has gone out of stock, the market really hasn't responded. Like the market hasn't really said, "Hey, we're willing to pay double the retail price," because new price basically went up to almost double. I mean, not even double MSRP, and no one's buying it. So due to the fact that it looks like there really isn't any increased demand, I would definitely not buy this now. Because the used price was right around 40 or 50, I'd still say that if this were to drop to like $10, I would pop on it because I think people were probably willing to pay 40 or 50 for it. Um, Wellsprings with great perfection. All right, Amazon just came back on the listing with this book, and they're now on this for $34. Looks like there wasn't a ton of demand when Amazon went out of stock, so this went up to maybe about 50, but not enough demand for me to want to pick that book up. Order of the Solemn Exposition of the Holy Eucharist, Presiders Edition. All right, $33 is kind of this sort of 30 to 50. It looks like Amazon's selling this for about 70. Now, again, not quite enough margin for this to be worth it. If this were around 10 or 15, I'd consider it. Okay, we got data structures and algorithm in Python. It's dropped down to 32. Again, same thing here. Doesn't really look like, especially with that new price being there, doesn't really look like there's not a ton of demand for this, and then also not quite enough margin. Okay, Hellboy Into the Silent Sea. So it looks like we could have actually picked this up for a little bit cheaper in the past. Could have picked this up for about 277, which would have been a better deal for sure. You would have probably still tried to sell this for around 25. So I'm gonna go and pass on that. Holly Davidson book. Let's see. College Algebra 2. All right, massive textbook seasonality. July could have picked this up for 3 and flipped it for 75. Obviously, that's hindsight. Looks like there is kind of this pattern of going down really low in price and shooting up in price. It looks like though in the last January textbook season, it didn't actually sell at that inflated price though. It did definitely in August here. So it actually did a little bit in January as well. Like basically 25 is what you pay for. A couple sales at 113. And now you can see the repricing war. This is something that I would probably take a gamble on. I'd probably pick up one copy and I'd want to buy this at dirt cheap. Like I'd want to buy this for under like $7. So notice that January had a little bit of textbook season, and we do actually have August, September coming up. And August, September was really good there in the past. In the past, August, September, I was right around 40. So this is something that obviously is a college book, is college algebra, but I'm gonna go and track this for $750 free shipping. I'm willing to take a risk on that book if it does get that cheap, but otherwise I'm not gonna be risking the whole time. Okay, let's keep going here. So this Certain Idea of France, $23. Looks like it's sold up to 100. That's good. 64 has sold a little bit lower at 21, which is right around what we can buy it for. Then the most recent sell at 76. I actually am tracking this for $13 already. Let's go back in time, see what this is selling for. Again, just sporadic sales, not a ton. I mean, it looks like definitely more sell-through rate right around what we can buy it for now. So that's why I'm probably tracking. If it gets a little bit cheaper, I'd be definitely in for that. Same idea here, right? Definitely see a drop in price. Let's get rid of the collectible price, making this graph look really weird. some sells here are 30 to 40. Then you can see this one time drop down to 430. So this is something that I probably also probably would buy as well. I mean, the used price of this has held pretty high. It's been a couple repricing wars. This doesn't really look like it's a textbook. This came out in 2012. We can try to Google it, see if there is a newer edition that comes up. Go to images, the history and the discourse on what is this? Is this an older edition? The history of the church and art. That's not even the right book. I mean, this to me looks like it's a newer edition. Came out in 2012, selling really well. I mean, less so now, but has sold very consistently for about $50 in new condition and, maybe a little bit cheaper, $40 in used condition. Now you can pick it up for 4. Let's see what the offers are. So it looks like super book deal. So you'd be all into this for, what would this be? You'd be $8.29. I'd probably just try to sell at $35.99, make an $11 profit, run away with my money. And that's something that I would buy. So I'm going to buy that. Again, slow moving, not going to move fast, but inherently a good deal. Like it has gone down that low before in the past, but immediately shot back up after the repricing war was over. So I would say think about it from the customer perspective. Would they rather spend $60 from Amazon or $35 from you? I'd say probably half the people are going to decide to buy in used condition. I think there is not even a new, or there aren't other prime offers on this, and there are very few offers to compete against. So you got to ask yourself: is the customer going to buy $60 new or $35 used? Probably a good majority of them would pay 35 used, and I think you'd make $10. So you're not retiring early off that book, but that is a book that will sell. It's a book that I'd pick up. Okay, Spacecraft Attitude. You could pick this up for 15. So massive drop in price. Look at the recent sales. This was going for about 83. Offer count right now is lower than it's been in the past. That's definitely a good sign. And offer count on this book is going down. So I'm going to lean probably a buy on this one, but let's do a little bit more research here. Looks like it's already gone. So someone already beat us to it, unfortunately, but that's the right idea. 15 would have been undervalued here because the price of this book back in time was right around 30, which is about double the price of what it was at today. And also the offer count was higher than it is today. So all those factors make me think this would have been a good pickup. This says it came out in 1980 as well, which is, if that is true, this is an old book and therefore would be a good pickup. Another sign that it's a good pickup is that the hardcover is $140. It's also very inflated, and it actually has sold at that high of a price before. So yeah, definitely this would have been a good buy, and you can see that's why someone else also bought it. Now this has seen periods of time where it's been lower. I mean, you could argue that $29.99 in hindsight was a good deal. And if we actually analyze this from that point in time, this is what we would have seen. And we would have said, okay, well, in the past, this has been up to 60. It has sold up to 200 as well. This came out a long time ago. So inherently, offer count isn't really higher than it was in the past. So this is something that I might have even considered popping on in the past. Even the buy box price was still holding really strong there at 95, even though it was cheaper. So I don't know. Let's go and track this for $20. If that ever happens, I'm going to track this for 10 years, considering that it's been out since 1980. And I think that's going to be a good pickup there. All right, let's see if there's anything else over here on eBay. The $29 looks like it's 54 on eBay. Definitely cheaper on Amazon. Let's see if this is an Amazon to Amazon flip. So definitely going down in price a little bit. This was pretty consistently selling between 50 and 70. Now we can pick it up for $29.49. It's a budgeting guide. Looks like we got super book deals. We got a couple of people in a repricing war. We got a newer edition of this out, which is selling great. This is something, again, that I would track because of the repricing war. So let's just go ahead and reevaluate at 20. So if it gets to 20, let's have it notify us, and then we'll just reevaluate from there. See if it'll become something worth buying. All right, let's see what else we got. Internal combustion engine just refreshed right now. So let's see if this is a good deal. All right, this looks like something that we could probably pop on. So $17.99 plus $5 shipping. So we're all in this for $23.24. And kind of a bummer. I was hoping this would actually have more consistent. I was hoping this would have consistent sales of upwards of 80, but it doesn't. So this was being sold new for about 23 in the past. Used price is right around 15. So this is this person's selling it for right around what it's worth, and they're actually are trying to sell it, right? They're listing it for a price that probably will sell out. So not gonna buy that, but let's look at these books here. Um, City book. See if there's anything else here. So $32 for this new soul book, and 88. No, that's the wrong book. Where is it at? Let's open up the Amazon listing. So there. Okay, so $28 on Amazon as well. Looks like the buy box is $35. This has been selling for right around 35. What I will say about this, maybe this is something worth tracking for these dips right here, down to $11. This does sell pretty consistently around 30 or 40. And look at this sale. This could have been a sell at 290, which is insane to think about, but that is possible. Obviously, everyone was eating this book up when it was being sold for $20 brand new condition. Amazon went out of stock. You can see that people are willing to pay 35. So this is something that you might track for, I don't know. I mean, reverse engineer. If we think we can sell for 35, um, then what would we need to pick it up for, like 10? And for us to be profitable. So I'm gonna go and track this for $10, including free shipping. $10 all in. I'm gonna try this for 10 years because this is a book that is gonna hold some good value. All right, let's look at this book, City of Mist, 88 on eBay, 55 on Amazon. Looks like this is undervalued on actually Amazon. Offer count is going up, which is not good. It's actually the highest it's ever been. Now, this definitely looks like it has sold for in the past for as low as 50, has sold for it looks like 200 there. This was being sold brand new, MSRP for $59.99. It's good that you can buy it right now for basically the MSRP price or maybe even a little bit under it. Most recent sales were 115. Again, offer count is rising a little bit, which means that we should see the price come down a little bit, which is actually what we are seeing. And let's just see what the prime offers are. So we have one at 80, one at 90. We got Teddy Bear, love the name, and we have BLE Online. So, this is a interesting one. This is kind of you're on the fence because you can pick it up for a little bit over 60. Let's see, is it cheaper on eBay? Can we send an offer? 99, 64. Yeah, so the rising offer count is not good. I mean, think about it this way, like this has been out for many years, like 3 or 4 years, and the offer count has kind of stayed consistent. And all of a sudden, it started to increase significantly. So I don't know how long it's going to take for the market to respond to that, to buy those copies out. But clearly, people were willing to spend up to upwards of 115 or 120. So this is something that I think if maybe we can pick up a little bit cheaper, maybe like 35 or 40, and sell for maybe like 90, somewhere around there. I think that would be fine. So interesting book though. All right, let's see what else. 798 for this. 499 looks like it's just an error from Flipmine. Is anything else here? I don't think so. All right, buddy. All right, everyone. Get a drink of water. Hello. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you. Saying nice to see you. Welcome if you're still here. All right, everyone. I mean, right around 723, I think I've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4 books that I remember to save that I'm going to buy if no one else has bought them. So I would say that's pretty realistic of an hour sourcing session. In 1 hour, you're probably able to spend, I don't know, $100 at least. I mean, we would have picked this someone up for 31. We'd have picked this up for 1288. So we're right around like 50, close to 50. Pick this up for another 10, like 60. Pick this one up. I mean, so we would have spent around $70 on those books. I think there was also 1 or 2 more books that I forgot. I think I exited out of on accident, but yeah, that is kind of how I source on Flipmine and source on Keepa. And notice that we didn't even use the product finder. We didn't even look at any notifications for books that came in. Flipmine wasn't really that great, honestly. But again, Flipmine's all about looking at it a lot throughout the day, not in long sessions, but just looking at the new feed refresh. But we did still find stuff on Flipmine we did find one thing on Flipmine that would have been good to buy. But I think I'm just hanging out for a couple more minutes. If everyone has any questions, otherwise, I am going to get on with the rest of my day. If you haven't seen the recent interview with Victor Gallegos, which was all about buying Christmas books, Go check that out because I've already started my leads list for my Christmas books. Based upon that conversation, I was able to find right now, I think I'm at about 40 Christmas books that I'm going to be picking up to buy and sell to come December. And these are books that on the lower end look like they get to around like you can pick them up on eBay below $5 and then sell them for like 25 to 30. And then some of the better books are books that you can buy below like $7 or $8 and flip them for like 40 or 50 based upon the past trends. So I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to just give out all those books that I found because it does take a while to find books like that. But definitely go check that video out if you haven't. Do you have a video on repricing? Great question, Chris. I actually just interviewed Be Cool and Samuel from Be Cool, and he kind of went over some of the conditional repricing rules that Be Cool uses that I'm going to end up trying out. So I think what I'm going to do there, Chris, is actually work with some of the repricing rules and the conditional repricing rules, see how that goes over time, and then maybe make a video. But that Be Cool video should be coming out in a couple weeks. It's an interview of from Samuel at Be Cool. Great question, Josh. Any questions for getting buy box eligible? Or any suggestions for getting buy box eligible? Yes. Sell as much as you can. And in the beginning, it's about becoming buy box eligible. So I'm assuming your account is new. You have to basically prove to Amazon that you're a worthy seller. And what that means is they need proof that customers are buying from you and that the customers are not unhappy with you, which means that they're not leaving negative feedback. They're not really returning a whole bunch of stuff. So in that, obviously, you don't get like counterfeit claims or IP. So I would say, I don't know, you're probably US based. I'm assuming you're US based. I would say try to find really, really high ranked books, or sorry, really, really low ranked books, maybe in your local area that you know are going to move fast. I'm talking like sub 15,000, sub 25,000 ranked books that you know are going to sell. And even if they're only selling for like a dollar profit, I would say just sell them because you're just trying to build a track record with Amazon. So it's all about the number of sales. So let's actually take a look at this. That's a really good question because I know a lot of new sellers, they need to get buy box eligible. So let's see here. For example, like this book here, The Female Brain. Am I sharing? Okay, Female Brain. Let's just look this up. So this is a free book that I got as part of my 0 to 1,000 series, which I only made video 2. I still have to make video 3. I just got so much going on, everyone, that I'm sorry all the videos are coming out so slow. But 920100. Let's see what rank this book is. So like this is $1.30, right? So it's not like you'd make much money at all in this book. But let's see what the rank of this book is. I think it's actually pretty low. So 699 is the buy box, which is not great, but the sales rank is like sub 30,000. So I would just say selling as much as you can, as much volume as you can, as quickly as you can is going to help. So it looks like the prime offers are $6.99. So if you put in, I mean, you probably would have to pay like $1 or $2 for this, and obviously you would lose money. But this is the idea. It's like, and I also have my prep center fee here, so you would lose money on this. I got this book for free, so so that's fine. But anything that has really low sales rank that is going to either break even or make a little bit of profit, I think is really going to be helpful for you getting the buy box. Ooh, good question. Do I use eScore as a metric for sourcing? I don't, although I don't think it's a bad metric because eScore just says, hey, here's the number of days this thing is sold in the last 180 days, or the number of days that the sales rank has dropped in the last 180 days. So you can kind of think of it as the number of sales. But for me, because I'm looking at the Keepa chart already to look at what was the book selling for, like at what price was it selling for in the past, and how has that changed over time with offer count, there's not really any need for me to look at the eScore number because I can clearly look at a chart and go, oh, that's generally 10 or that's generally 15 or generally 30. Like, so for me, it's not really necessary, but I think if you're out there scanning for sure, a thrift store eScore is very, very, very valuable. I think it's actually better than sales rank if you're not able to see a Keepa chart because again, it tells you how many times the sales rank has dropped in the last 180 days, and that's really helpful. Do I have any videos for do I have any videos for the settings on Keepa and Keepa data? Yeah, I do. I have probably my most recent video, which was my Keepa online arbitrage book secrets. You can go check that one out. Let's see if we can find that on my YouTube channel. Let's go over to YouTube. Oh, look at that. 17 watching. Let's go. Let's go to your channel and let's see videos. So yeah, you can go to this video here called Keepa Online book arbitrage sourcing strategies. That's a good one. Let's see what else we got. I think I go over it in this as well. How to use keep it deals to make thousands. That's a good one. What else we got that would be good for this? Sourcing this one, sourcing profitable books with keep it deals is this easy. That's a good one. Are keep a deals better than flip mine? So a lot of keep a deals ones. If you're looking for product finder, I would go back way back, throw it way back to the beginning of summer last year, which was where is it at? Here's how to find. So here's another video. Keep a deals tab finds profitable books. So there's more settings, and then keep a product finder tool. So this is how I use the product finder full. I can't even talk. What am I saying? Here's the product finder tool, and then here's the track product feature as well. So here's how to profit from Amazon to Amazon book flipping. So to buy stuff in new condition and flip it in. Actually, I want to open that up because there's actually a book there. Let me make sure the volume's muted. This is actually really interesting. Was this Amazon flips, or is this just? I think this is just used condition. Okay, never mind. I thought that meant buying from Amazon themselves new. So yeah, tons of stuff there. Also, I would say there are a lot of live streams where I go over a lot of different settings. So go back there and look at that as well. What's up, Chris? Thank you. Hit the like button. I appreciate it. Yo, how's it going, man? How's it going, Phil? Happy Saturday. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Got to head out. Yeah, thanks, Logan, for being here. I appreciate it, man. Have a good one. And looking forward to the Doughboys Media podcast with you. All right. I'm sorry, Phil. We just kind of got to the end of the live stream, but thanks, everyone. I appreciate you being here. Like I said, found a number of profitable books that if you all didn't buy, I'm going to go back and buy right now. So hoping everyone has a good weekend, and I'll see you on the next live stream. And there should be a new video coming out this Monday with an interview with Chris Grant from Clear the Shelf. So that will be exciting. And everyone have a good one. I'll see you in the next one, and take it easy. All good, Phil. All right, man. Later, man. Have a good one. See you, Chris. Have a good one. And I'll just wait a little longer just to say goodbye to people. You're welcome. Have a good one. If you're not in the Discord already, Discord is linked in. I don't think it's linked in this one, but it'll be linked below in some other. So Roman, how's it going, man? It's linked below in some other videos. All right, guys. Peace out. Have a good one. Later.